Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Sammy Ketchum, and welcome back to Sammy Ketchum TCG. Alright, today I'm going to be bringing you an expanded deck profile on Pikarom. Alright, and I'm going to be doing this expanded deck profile. I'm also going to give you like a little brief history on Pikarom and Expanded, before I jump into this. And then I'm going to tell you basically where I think Pikarom can go in Expanded. If it's still viable, if it's still good. We'll also go over the list. Text you can play in here, text you can take out. We're also going to talk about the ban list, the ban cards that just got banned, what you can play for Richmond, what you can't, things like that. And then also going forward for Expanded. So let's jump into this. First, a little bit of brief history about Pikarom and Expanded. So far, Pikarom and Expanded, it's not too bad. It's really not too bad. It has a couple of top finishes in Expanded, like a couple of regionals. It has a lot more tools in Expanded than what you would think. Pikarom in Expanded is pretty fast. It's really fast. You've got cards like Max Elixir to speed up to help get you powered up in the beginning and the early game. You've got Skyfield. If you play Skyfield, you can play down a whole bunch of shaymins with the dedennes, and you can get things rolling. You can get turn 1, turn 2 full blitz like that. Turbo Pikarom and Expanded is basically the best way to play Pikarom and Expanded. Because, in Expanded you don't play with Jirachis because the deck, it's so fast. It literally just runs itself. You've got Volkners, and now with the new sets that have came out, since we've had Expanded tournaments, we've had Unbroken Bonds. We've also had Unified Minds to come out, and we've also had Jesse and James. But Jesse and James really doesn't affect Pikarom in any way. But Unified Minds and Unbroken Bonds does. So, but yeah, Pikarom has been doing pretty decently in Expanded. This past season. But now we're in a new season. We're just getting started with Expanded Regionals that are coming up in about a week or two. So let's go ahead and jump into this deck profile and let me tell you all about it. Alright. Let's do this over here like that. We have ourselves 2 copies of Pikachu and Zekrom GX, better known as Pikarom. Alright. Pikarom is basically used in here for its full blitz attack. 3 lightning energies, 150. Search your deck for 3 lightning energies and attach them to one of your bench Pokemon. This is basically your main attacker, your bread and butter. Help you get energies onto your bench Pokemon. Helps you set up your Raichu. Helps set up your other attackers, which is very good. His GX attack is also good as well. You've got Tagbolt GX. Alright. Also 3 lightning energies for 200 damage. If you have 3 more energies attached to it, you could basically do 170 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Now that is very good. You can snipe a dedenne. You know, you can snipe off a dedenne, or snipe off something on the bench that already has damage on it. You know, but a lot of people have a lot of respect for Pikarom's GX attack because they have that bench barrier Mew card in their deck. So the thing about it is, with expanded, there's not too much of Mew in expanded, unless people, I guess, decide if they have room for it, and if they decide to play it, they can play the Mew. Or maybe they just think they just have a great matchup against Pikarom altogether that they wouldn't need it. You know. So, but yeah, your bread and butter here. Have ourselves one copy of Raichu and Alolan Raichu GX, better known as Chuchu GX. It's basically in here for its tandem shock attack. 2 lightnings and a colorless. It does 80 damage, but if it comes from the bench this turn, you could basically do 80 more damage, so that's 160, and you get to paralyze your opponent. This attack, ladies and gentlemen, is busted. You sit up there and you paralyze your opponent's Pokemon, and if they can't get out of it, you're Gucci. You are Gucci for the turn. You know what I'm saying? You lock them. They can't do anything for the turn unless they have like a switch, or unless they evolve their Pokemon, etc., etc. You know, but that attack is busted. If you could get it off, stick them with that paralyzation, and if they can't do anything, they're locked. Alright? His GX attack, it's an alternate GX attack, is very good. It is the go-to GX attack now, since people are always on their guard with Tag Bolt with Mew. You've got Lightning Ride GX, or as I call it, Black Lightning Ride GX. 2 lightning and 1 colorless, 150 damage. If you have 2 more lightning energies attached to it, this attack basically you can do 100 more damage, and you get to switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. So 100 more damage. So that's 250 damage just for 2 more energies, and you get to switch him with one of your bench Pokemon. So he goes back and he hides. So that means you'd have to like bring him up with like a custom catcher or something if you want to try to take him out, you know. So, you know, I mean, that's very good. Also, with an electropower, you're hitting for 280, you know, which basically one-shots the bigger tag teams. Mew Mew GX, things like that, you know. We have ourselves one copy of Zeraora GX. Zeraora GX is in it for its Thunderclap Zone ability. If you have an electric energy attached to any of your Pokemon, they can retreat. Their retreat cost is free. Yep. So free retreat, which is very, very good. Also, it's Plasma Fist attack, which is for 160, is very good. But you can't attack on the next turn. That's fine. If you want, you know, if he has energy on him, you can free retreat him to the bench and bring out another Pokemon. Easy as that. We have ourselves one copy of Dedenne GX. Dedenne GX is in here for its Dedenne change ability. You play it from your hand, and when you play it from your hand, you discard all the cards from your hand, and you draw 6 cards. This is very good. This is basically a new Shaymin EX. Well, a more balanced Shaymin EX, because you can only play one Dedenne. You can only use one Dedenne change a turn. You know, But with shaymin, you can use shaymin as many times as you want, as long as you have the bench space. But yeah, it's very good draw power. Very, very good draw power. His other attacks are pretty decent too. If you're in a dire situation and you have to use them, you could use Tingly Return GX to paralyze your opponent, and you can return this to your hand. But you really would never really use the GX attack in this situation. We have ourselves one copy of Tapu Koko GX. Tapu Koko GX. This is expanded, so now we get to play with Tapu Koko GX again. This card is busted, let me tell you. You can basically use its ability, Arrow Trail. When you're playing from your hand onto your bench, you can move as many lightning energies as you want to Tapu Koko GX, and then you can move them to the active spot. And then this GX attack for 2 lightnings and a colorless, it does 50 times the amount of energy your opponent has in play. So the amount of energy they have in play, not on the opponent's active, but in play. So if your opponent has 4 energies in play, that's 200 damage. If they have 5 energies in play, that's 250. 6 energies in play, you get the picture. He can one-shot tag teams. This is very good. And with Mute 3 coming into expanded, with them getting a lot of energies on their Pokemon, this GX attack is busted. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to break this out against somebody. We have ourselves 2 copies of Shaymin EX. This is expanded, so we could use Shaymin EX. Alright, you play it from your hand, and you could draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand. Simple as that. So if you have 1 card in your hand, well, 2 including this one, but if you have 1 card in your hand and you play this, draw up to 5 cards. If you have 2 in your hand, play it from your hand, draw 4. If you have no cards in your hand and you play it, you draw 6. This card is very good and expanded. It is just like, it's busted. It's really so good. Great draw power. Alright. 1 copy of Tapu Koko Prism Star. It's in here for its Dance of the Ancients. You get 2 lightning energies from your discard pile, and you can attach them to 2 of your bench Pokemon. Very good energy acceleration. 1 copy of Xurkitree GX. Xurkitree GX. It's in here for its ability. And what it says is that it basically prevents damage from Pokemon with special energies attached to them. Now it says prevent damage. It doesn't say effects of attacks. So you could get around this. But as far as damage goes, you won't be able to damage him. And then his Rumbling Wires attack does 100 damage, and you discard the top card of your opponent's deck, which is pretty decent. But you stick him in the active, and he becomes like a wall against special energy Pokemon, which is very good. This would definitely be good against all those decks with special energy on them and expanded. Mute 3. Next we have Jolteon EX. Right now this Jolteon GX in here, this is a proxy for the Jolteon EX. But what Jolteon EX does, his main attack, the one we're using in this deck, I think it's called Flash Ray. For 2 colorless and not 2 colors. A light. Is it lightning? I think, yeah, it is. I think it's a lightning in 2 colors or 2 lightnings and a colors. But anyway, it does 70 damage, and it prevents basic Pokemon from attacking Jolteon EX on the next turn. So you can sit there and do Flash Ray, and then no basic Pokemon, whether it be normal basics, EXs, GXs, tag teams, they can't attack Jolteon on the next turn. That is very, very good. I think, is it attack or is it damage? I think it's damage. Basic Pokemon can't damage Jolteon EX. Just like with Xurkitree, there's ways to get around Jolteon GX. But just like Xurkitree, basics can't damage him. So you can't say I'm gonna put 50 damage on Jolteon, because you can't, because of Flash Ray. But you can do something like, I'll move damage counters from this Pokemon to this Pokemon. You could do that. But as far as damage goes, basic Pokemon can't damage him if he uses Flash Ray, which is very, very good. You know. Alright, we're gonna move into the supporters. Have ourselves 4 copies of Volkner. Volkner is very good. You can get an energy, and you can get an item card from your deck. This is so busted, especially in expanded. You know, you can get choice bands, you can get float stones, you can get switches, energy switches, tag switches, any item card that you want to use at your disposal. You can get 1 copy of the item card you need with Volkner and electric energy. This is so great for electric decks. 4 copies of Guzma. This is expanded, so we can now play Guzma and expanded. This says switch one of your opponent's Pokemon for one of their bench Pokemon. Well, they're active for one of their benches. You get to choose, and then you also bring up one of your Pokemon from the bench to the active spot. You know, this is very good. This is so good. This card alone can help you win games. So busted. We have ourselves 2 copies of N. N is basically very good. It's an equalizer. You basically shuffle your hand into your deck and draw cards equal to the prizes that you and your opponent have. Well, both players do it. So if you have 6 prizes, you draw 6 cards. If you have 3 prizes, you draw 3 cards. You know. But basically you want to do this when your opponent has taken like a lot of prizes. So you play it and you're like, oh, okay, I'll play this. I'll draw like up to 6 cards, and then you draw maybe like 1 card because you're at like 1 prize, or you're at 2 prizes, you draw 2 cards. This is very good. It's a combat card. You know, an equalizer. Not bad. It's a good draw supporter. 1 copy of Cynthia. This could be Cynthia. This could also be Corliss. This could also be Corliss. This could also be Professor Sycamore. So whatever you choose. But I think you need some type of either draw 6, draw 7, or something that lets you draw a lot of cards, more card in this deck. You know, just to have. I mean, you gotta have more draw power, right? Alright, let's see. 4 copies of Electropower. Electropower boosts the attacks of your electric Pokemon by 30 damage. So Pikarom's Full Blitz is now doing 180, 210, 240, etc. You know, Chuchu's GX attack, 180. If you got more energies on it, that's 280, etc. You're doing a lot of damage with this. These will help you basically close out games, close out damages on Pokemon, help you get knockouts, certain things like that. Three copies of Max Elixir. Alright, Max Elixir says look at the top 6 cards of your deck and choose an energy and choose a basic energy from among them and attach them to one of your basic bench Pokemon. This is so busted in Pikarom because every single Pokemon in this deck is a basic. You can attach an energy from the top of your deck to any of your Pokemon since they're all basics. Alright? This is very good. It's good in the beginning of the game. It's not good in the late game because it's not good in the late game, especially with Pikarom, because you're sitting there, you're doing full blitz, you're thinning out your deck, you're attacking for the turn, you'll barely have energies left in your deck. But in the beginning of the game, this is busted. It's nuts. Crazy energy acceleration. Three copies of Switch. Self-explanatory. Switch out your active with one of your bench Pokemon. Very good. Two copies of Reset Stamp. Now, Reset Stamp is one of those banned cards that I said I was going to talk about. But Japan has recently banned these cards because I guess they basically, in Japan, they broke the game over there. But yeah, this card got banned. And it also got banned over here. But the ban will not go into effect over here until November 15th. You know, so you can play Reset Stamps in your deck for Richmond and for Portland, I think. I'm not sure. But definitely you could play these in your deck for Richmond if you wanted to play them. But two copies of Reset Stamp. What it says is that you can make your opponent shuffle their hand into their deck and draw the number of cards equal to the prizes that they have. So you basically play this when they knock out one of your GXs or when they knock out a tag team. You draw for your turn. You set you go Reset Stamp. I stamp you to 2, or I stamp you to 3, or I stamp you to 1. You know, it is so very good and so very crippling. If you were to sub these out, you could sub these out for choice bands. You know, and that's just choice bands are just more added damage against GXs. Two copies of Energy Switch, just like the card says. Switch an energy from one of your Pokemon to another Pokemon. Self-explanatory. This is really good in this deck since you have so much energy acceleration. You know, you can move your energies around wherever you want. Two copies of Ultra Ball. This is expanded. Discard 2 cards from your hand. Search your deck for any Pokemon and add it to your hand. Very, very good. This will help you get your Shaymins. This will help you get your non-GX Pokemon. Any Pokemon in the deck you can get with this, which is very good. 2 copies of electromagnetic radar. This is one of the newer cards that's in here that I don't think that has been played in expanded before, I don't think. But you discard 2 cards from your hand and you search your deck for 2 electric, either EX or GX Pokemon. So with this, I can get Tapu Koko GX. I can also get Jolteon EX. I can get Pikarom. I can get Chuchu. I can get dedenne. I can search out just about almost any Pokemon in my deck with these cards, you know, which is very busted. Also, discarding cards isn't bad either. I can discard electric energies for Tapu Koko Prism Star to use its effect. So you've got plays there, which is very good. Also, you can search this out with Volkner. Alright, more cards you can search out with Volkner. Tag switch. You can basically take energies off of a tag team Pokemon, 2 energies, and you can attach them to any one of your other Pokemon. So you can take 2 energies off of a tag team and put them on another Pokemon. It could be another tag team, it could be any other Pokemon, which is very good. You're moving your energies around more, which is very good for this deck. This deck is very versatile in having different attackers, different setups, things like that. Whatever you want to, wherever you want to use your Pokemon for in attacks, this will help you do it. 1 copy of Max Potion. This could also be an Acerola, since it is expanded. Max Potion basically says you can heal all the damage from one of your Pokemon, but you have to discard all the energies attached to it. This works extremely well with Tapu Koko GX. What you could do is you can go Tapu Koko GX, use Arrow Trail, move all the energies off from one of your damaged Pokemon onto Tapu Koko GX, then you play Max Potion and then heal all that damage off. This is very, very good. But this could also be Acerola, where you could basically play Acerola and just basically pick up the Pokemon with all the energies attached to it back to your hand. But that's your supporter for the turn. I opted to go with Max Potion because it's an item. It's a little bit faster, and you can also search this out with Volkner. It's searchable. 1 copy of Stadium Navi. This will let you find a stadium card within your deck. Flip 2 coins. If either of them are heads, for each heads, search your deck for a stadium card. So if you get 1 head, search your deck for 1 stadium. If you get 2 heads, search your deck for 2. But most of the time, you're usually going to get 1 heads. So this is always most of the time, 90% of the time, this is gonna work out for you. I love this card. Speaking of stadiums, we have ourselves 3 copies of Power Plant. Yes, 3 copies of Power Plant. This deck is basically Pika plants. Pika plants and expanded. We play 3 copies. What it says is that Pokemon EX or GX, Pokemon with EX and GXs, they have no abilities. Alright? And how this basically works is that what you do is you use all of your abilities. You use all your abilities up. After you use all your abilities up, sit there, you drop this, and now your opponent's locked. And now they can't use theirs. Since you've already used your abilities and stuff for the turn before you drop this, you're basically Gucci. Alright? But this locks your opponent, especially Mute 3. This locks Mute 3. This locks opponents posing the dedennes, shaymins, tapu leles, what have you. You know, so this basically locks all GX and EX abilities, which is very good against your opponent. You know, but this deck can work around that. And the reason why I added these in here is because it's like they already have a Pika Plants version of this deck in standard. And if they can play Pika Plants in standard with dedennes and with zeraora, and if they could work around that in standard, you know, why not try this in expanded? You know, I think it could work in expanded as well. You know, I think this will be a very, very good, you know, deck to basically have as a counter to other decks with abilities, GX abilities. One copy of Thunder Mountain, Thunder Mountain Prism Star. It makes all your electric Pokemon, it makes all their attacks cost 1 lightning less. So Pikarom's Full Blitz is now 1 lightning energy and 1 colorless. Pikarom's GX attack, you know, now costs 2 electric energies. You know, and so forth. This is very good in helping you get set up, helping you attack early on in the game. You know, this is so busted. It's so good with this deck. And then we have ourselves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 lightning energies for your Pokemon. Alright guys, that is the deck. Like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions about this expanded deck list, let me know. Try it out. You know, take it to Richmond. Try it out in some expanded cups. I think this is pretty brilliant. You know, I think this will give some decks a run for their money. Pikarom will give some decks a run for their money and expand it. I haven't heard anyone talk about Pikarom and expanded, but I'm talking about it now, and I'm saying right now, Pikarom with Power Plants, with Jolteon, and with Xurkitree will give those decks in expanded a run for their money. So try it out. Let me know what you think. Also, you can like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, make sure you take care of yourself and each other. Thank you.